Hey, I'm Andy, and I'm still a nerd. It's been a little while since the last time I've been on. What prompted it this time is, you know how when you log on to Microsoft Edge, you get that Microsoft web page of Clickbait, and I happened to notice one of the things was things Gen Z hates about the Boomer generation, and needless to say, I clicked on it just out of curiosity, and it's just funny the perspective that Gen Z has of us. Bear in mind, the Boomer generation. I'm right at the edge of being into Gen X. I'm like within 3 years of that the cutoff. Born in '62, so I'm not even like in the middle of the Boomers. But you got to remember that every complaint they have about finances and everything, this is stuff we complained about with regard to our parents and our grandparents. You don't want to talk about how hard it is for you to buy stuff. It's because you're wasting money. There is absolutely no reason for y'all to be spending money on the crap you spend money on. People complain about the price of food. Well, yes, you can blame Joe Biden on that. The price of construction materials, the price of food. Well, geez, it almost doubled because of his policies that he enacted right at the beginning of his tenure. The prices come down, no, but at least they stopped going up. That's not a good thing. Reducing inflation is not the same thing as deflation. Fortunately for housing problems, the cost of lumber is deflating. It is coming back down to the pre-Joe Biden prices. It ain't there yet, but it's approaching it. So that's the good news. That means, maybe there'll be housing starts again. But Gen Z complaining about the cost of housing. I don't know how to tell you that. This it wasn't us. This was COVID, The moment COVID happened, all of a sudden everybody wanted to get out of their apartment buildings and out of the downtown areas and get into the suburbs. So they paid whatever it took to buy a house and they sucked up all the housing. Well, now you're stuck by that and you have to wait for A, either more housing to be built or B, enough people to die that there is no longer a housing shortage. Uh, Apartments, don't know what to tell you there. The apartments have always been around. You just have to be willing to take the stuff that your parents took when they were young and your grandparents took when they were young. The bottom line is the average cost of an apartment where I live is almost 2 grand. And that doesn't mean there weren't, I mean, I had to move outside the normal area. If I tried to get an apartment in downtown Portsmouth, I'd be paying an arm and a leg. Instead, I had to move 15 miles away and commute that, and my rent is half that. So you have to make sacrifices. Gen X and the Boomers don't have all the money. The people who do have the money happen to be Boomers and Gen X's, but there are still way more of us who are poor than there are who are rich. And you have to get over that. It's just because you see, because your mommy and daddy make the big bucks and live in a 4,000 square foot house, doesn't mean the rest of us do. Apartment complexes are filled with boomers and Gen Xers who make, 40,000 a year, 50,000 a year, and we're doing fine. So, if you think that 50,000, you have to make a minimum of 50,000 to get along, no, you don't. I do great I have a 2 bedroom apartment because I'm too cheap to get a storage unit. So I have a 2 bedroom apartment. I have a car and I make 40,000 maybe, varies from year to year. It's multiple jobs. I teach, disabled veteran gives me a small payment every month. And, I do construction to fill in to fill in the gaps. I do part-time construction. So yeah, and that's what it takes. Teaching doesn't pay crap. Especially not what I am. I'm an adjunct. I'm a teacher for hire. If they need me, they pick me up. So I make next to nothing, and I still survive. I live by myself. I don't split my rent with anybody. If you're young, there is no reason you can't get a roommate. You just do not have enough baggage to not be able to handle a roommate. You are all still in the same place, and it cuts the bills in half. There is absolutely no excuse for you to follow all the elitist stuff and get the best cell phones and eat only organic or eat food that's ridiculously expensive. I don't know how to tell you how many months I've had to live on tuna fish and ramen soup. That's like a thing. If I'm broke, that's what I do until I recover my finances. And I'm not, I mean, the things I'm saying now are the same things my parents and grandparents told me about income, that I'm wasting my money. And in some ways I am, you know, compared to them, I am. You got to remember, my parents, they're the great generation. My father served in World War II. He was a teenager in the Great Depression. Well, he was five in the Great Depression, but they lived through that. And his parents lived through that. And, you think it's bad now. This isn't. We keep wasting money on ways to kill time instead of killing time by making more money. Most of us can get another job. And if you can't, find a side gig. This is what we did. And this is not, crying about it does not change anything. Yes, your parents have money, and you know what? When they die, you'll get a piece of it. But you better stop the Democrats because they're trying to raise the inheritance tax. So, oh, my father left me $200,000, but you get to keep 40,000. That's not going to help you. So stop stupid policies. Everybody loved the idea that Obamacare gave everybody cheap health care. No, he didn't. What he did is he literally doubled the price of health care. Health insurance is not health care. By mandating people get health insurance, he put a whole layer of bureaucracy between the cost of the health care and you. So you are paying not just for the health care, you are now paying for the health care and the insurance companies that are paying it off for you. So, another brilliant thing, Obama, the price of used cars doubled because Barack Obama came up with his amazing cash for clunkers deal where people went to used car lots and bought cheap cars so they could get a huge tax break. And the whole point for cash for clunkers was to boost a flagging auto industry. But Obama never said that you have to use it to trade in for to get money towards a Japanese car or a German car. So people took all these used American cars off the market to buy cars built in other countries. Y'all vote for them. You guys did this, not us. So, and it's going to keep happening. It's only getting worse. You think all these politically correct movements are helpful. They're not. They're costing you money. And the people, back in the day when Ronald Reagan was president, there was a big movement called the moral majority. And that's the idea that the people who are quiet, we're just watching politics go on. Sooner or later, you hit a breaking point, and that moral majority, which is most of us, the regular people, the people who do get married for life, and the people who, do, watch out for their neighbors, the people who don't automatically steal something when they think they won't get caught, or even when they think they will get caught. Just the arrogance of the young generation. When I was young, we did the same stuff. But once you get into society and you start functioning, you get married, you have kids, you figure out that you have to teach your kids to be moral to function in society. And the moment that happens, if your morality is go ahead, sleep with whoever you want, well, you're going to end up with kids with the diseases who have trouble locking down a life partner that they can count on. So that's my rant of the day. Hopefully I didn't make this too long, but there it is, and hopefully I'll be able to get online with something a little better prepared. I want to point out that's actually one of the things I picked up a couple of things. One of them is teleprompter, so I can actually create outlines of what I intend to talk to, and this will turn into less babble and more something focused into a meaningful 10 minutes. But that's where we are for now. I just wanted to make sure that I didn't disappear off the internet for months before I prepare any of this stuff. And the goal from here is going to be at least once a week. There'll be something new, and hopefully it'll be more coherent and less, spontaneous and random as the past few have been. So thank you, and I will talk to you again. Bye bye. Click.